Pickleball. The name sounds weird, but the game isn't. And first things first, no, you don't need a pickle to play pickleball. It's almost like tennis, but is played on a smaller court. And it's one of the most rapidly growing games in the United States. The sport has already attracted some big names, and they've decided to invest some big bucks. In this video, we'll talk about everything related to pickleball. Let's start. First up, what's pickleball? You can say that pickleball is a mixture of table tennis, tennis, and badminton, but the court for pickleball is much smaller than a tennis court. It's more like a badminton court. You can play the game any way you like, indoors or outdoors. Just like badminton or tennis, pickleball's also played as singles or doubles, but instead of a racket, the players use a paddle and a plastic ball with holes to smash it around. There are almost 10,000 spots in the USA where you can play pickleball. Marriott hotels have also installed a pickleball court on their property. What started as an amateur event has now transformed into a professional league sport. The official 2022 championships will take place in Holly Hill, Florida, from November 5th to November 13th. Pickleball has seen a 21.3% growth from 2019 to 2020. Those are big numbers. Beginners can learn this game easily if they're familiar with badminton or tennis. The rules of the game are also very easy. So what are the easy rules? Up next, pickleball rules and how to play. The ball's supposed to be served diagonally, and the player or team who has served can only score points. Players on either side of the net have to let the ball bounce once before they hit the ball again. An important skill to learn in this sport is how to volley the plastic ball. Because the plastic ball doesn't bounce very well on the surface, this skill can come in handy. But to volley the plastic ball, it has to bounce once on either side of the net. For example, if player A has served the ball and the ball has bounced on the other side before player B returns it, player A now has to let it bounce once before both can start volleying it. But you can't always volley the ball. There's a small zone on both sides of the net called the kitchen zone. If a player's foot is inside the kitchen zone, they can't volley the ball. Not too complicated, right? And one last thing, the game is played for up to 11 points, and only the side that's serving can score points. Now, that's a catch. Now, why is it called pickleball though? Well, according to the spouse of the game's founder, pickleball is named after the pickle boat. Okay, what's a pickle boat now? A pickle boat, in rowing, is a crew that's made up of leftover team members. Members who weren't good enough to be a part of the main team. The crew is randomly drawn from everyone who's available. But pickle boat in sailing is something completely different. In sailing terms, it's the last boat to cross the line in a race. But we're not focused on sailing here, only rowing. The reason to name the game after pickle boat? Because like pickle boats, the rules of pickleball are also pieced together from different games like tennis and badminton. Before you say it, yes, the founders of pickleball were rich white people. U.S. Congressman Joel Pritchard, to be specific, Bill Bell, and Barney McCallum. Let's talk about why the game is suddenly so popular. Even though the game has been around for more than half a century, nobody knew that much about the sport until the pandemic. The United States was the first country to see a huge increase in pickleball participation since the pandemic started. Pickleball now has 4.8 million players in the States, and that number's only increasing. In the last 2 years, the popularity of the game has increased by 39.3%. One of the main reasons why this sport is so rapidly growing is that it requires almost no training. You just have to pick up a racket and start smashing the ball to get the hang of it. Also, it doesn't demand that much physical strength and isn't hard on your body like other racket sports, such as badminton and tennis. It helped a lot of people when they were practicing social distancing because it's an outdoor sport where they can talk with each other, have fun, and socialize while being at a safe distance. And basically, they just got a chance to learn something new in those tough times. Coming up, where did this unusual sport come from? The game was founded by Joel Pritchard, Bill Bell, and Barney McCallum in 1965. They came up with the idea of pickleball just to entertain their kids, who wanted something new to do and were bored with the same old summer activities. Just 2 years later, the first pickleball court was built, and a few years after that, in the 1990s, pickleball became so popular that it was being played by all 50 states in America. The potential for pickleball to become more famous was seen early on, and with the growing popularity of the sport, the United States Pickleball Association was formed in 2005. Not to mention, some big stars are investing in pickleball. A number of global superstars have decided to invest some big bucks in Major League Pickleball. One of them is the basketball legend, LeBron James. He's already invested money in the game, and it's not the first time we've seen him invest in a sport. James was soon followed by NFL star Tom Brady, who also bought a team in partnership with tennis legend Kim Clijsters. Two-time NBA champion Kevin Durant has also recently bought an expansion franchise in the league. Moving on, will pickleball be included in the Olympics? Unfortunately, there's zero chance. As pickleball is growing rapidly, players and fans are wondering when or if the sport will be included in the Olympics. Will they be able to see players take home a gold medal in their favorite sport? But sad news for pickleball fans. Officials have completely ruled out the possibility of the sport being a part of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Although pickleball's popularity in the US is unmatched, the sport isn't as famous overseas. It'll take time for people around the world to recognize this sport, and only then it could become a part of the Olympics. Next up, the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics could be a possibility for pickleball. After pickleball's inclusion in the 2024 Olympics has been ruled out, the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics are a possibility. Steve Sidwell, a former pickleball player and the man in charge of getting pickleball Olympic qualified, is hoping that there's a possibility pickleball can be a part of the 2028 Olympics. Everything's about money now in the Olympics. For a sport to be a part of the Olympics, it has to have a huge viewership so that it attracts more and more sponsors. This way, everyone can make big money. So even if a sport fulfills all the requirements to be recognized as an Olympic sport, we'll talk about the requirements in a second, it won't be a part of the Olympics if it has no viewership. The same's the case with pickleball. There isn't just enough viewership for the sport outside the US. Sidwell says he's optimistic that pickleball will be a part of the 2028 Olympics. Let's learn more about why pickleball wasn't picked for the 2024 Olympics. There are different conditions and requirements for a sport to become a part of the Olympics. One of them is that the sport must be played by at least 75 men from 4 continents, or women from at least 40 countries from 3 continents should be playing the sport. And currently, pickleball isn't able to fulfill all of these requirements. Maybe in the future, we'll see pickleball in the Olympics. Following up, what conditions should a sport meet to become a part of the Olympics? There are some steps that need to be taken in order to get recognized by the Olympics. First of all, the game must be recognized by the International Olympic Committee as a sport. Then, there are anti-doping standards and Olympic charter. Players of that sport must comply with the anti-doping regulations, or else they won't be allowed to play. That sport should be famous and must increase the value and appeal of the Olympics in the eyes of the audiences. Then, the International Federation of that sport must send an official petition, which goes through many checks, rules, and regulations before the sport is accepted. It's a very long process, no doubt. Finally, will pickleball ever be a part of the Olympics? By now, you must know that for a sport to be a part of the Olympics isn't an easy gig. The International Federation of Pickleball has a lot of work to do in order to promote and market their sport. If pickleball becomes popular around the globe, only then they can think about it being included in the Olympics. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on pickleball? Have you ever played the game? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.